first day as Soniqs and M80 square off on our very first map. Skyscraper and Villa will also be on the docket. Villa maybe not, but we will definitely see Skyscraper. If you are a fan of Soniqs or if you are a fan of M80, you are certainly hoping that Villa is not required because you want your team to get it done in just 2 maps. First ban's rolling in. Flores taken off the board by M80. It actually took them a fair bit of time to get that Flores ban. It's a little surprising that they went that long. Soniqs much faster with their second attacker ban.
A lot of thinking going through it. M80, they still tend to like the Thatcher ban pretty commonly, and I think for a new squad, whenever you have like a roster change in your team, that those like safe, stable bans, they make a lot of sense, but more target-oriented now. Flores from M80, and then actually Ying being banned out by Soniqs themselves, despite the success last time they played Border.
Solus joining. In terms of these operator prevalence rates, it would not surprise you if you've watched to know that Solus and Azami, the 2 newest defenders added to the game, have had a gigantic amount of impact. Frost, though, that is often a target ban, but also she's a strong operator on Border.
Yeah, you got window jump-ins in both archives and, of course, security and tailors as well. So pretty much 2 or 3 different bomb sites get affected by it. But also, Frost gives you that secondary shotgun, deployable shield. So it's just like a very stable operator pick throughout all the bomb sites. And the only thing about M80 banning Frost is that they start on the defense themselves. They can no longer use that operator to start with. But on the attacking side, they can get much more aggressive into the building because they don't have to worry about those Frost traps.
In terms of operator bans, it does not surprise anybody that Azami leads the way with 61% of all matches being banned out. That is a massive number. It's not often that we see an operator hit above 50% unless you are extremely important to the meta. Mira's a great example of that. Thatcher's ban rate has been up there as well. Azami, obviously a hugely important operator. Good gun, good kit, maneuverable, and you can set up your own set of defenses with those Kiba barriers. It's not surprising to see that while she escapes the ban phase unscathed, Gomez will pick her right away. Solus is the 2nd most banned operator out of every single op in the game. It does not surprise me to see her get taken down on a map like Border. There are so many avenues on which you can roam and gain information, and there's a lot of runouts as well because of the extended amount of balconies that are connected to the interior of the building by a single doorway. You can very easily see a drone, see somebody on it, break a door, break a window, hop out, get a pick, get back in, and get away safely.
Yeah, and between M80 and Soniqs, like they both kind of play these quick-paced early game rounds typically, so opening kills and deaths is something that we have to pay attention to throughout it. Gunner in the opening round, picking up the Nomad to, as you said, Parker, stop people from running out the building, and without Solus on the board, you can't really look at them. Claymores, air etc. You gotta make that risk assessment yourself, just kind of blindly based off audio, and just try and see if it's worth going for it. It's going to be security defense hold from M80, of course, on this armory bomb set defense. And Gomez on the Azami, it's the perfect operator for this position. The only downside, there's no Wamai, there's no Jaeger. If any grenades start flying in the window or coming from below, there's very little for Gomez to do than just simply run away.
Yep. This is going to be your first E1D. Spoit on the roam. He's got some support there with him. M80 picks up kills 1, 2, and now also a 3rd. All right, well, that's not the start that Soniqs wanted. Gunner gets a free Gomez. He decides to cross over that staff room, break room door. But Gunner needs to walk with some trepidation. Here's the mute jammer, barbed wire underneath him. Somebody from M80 might be able to act upon this. Huge pick to get the Azami out of play, though, at this point, and also free up a pretty consequential part of the bomb site and of the map required for this bomb site.
Yeah, Mini playing fully around it. All 5 members helped out there, right? Sport downstairs in customs, locking down the verticality for Gomez. Gomez in security. Kino holding from office and DS inside of armory, so everyone focusing on the same area of the map, leaving just Geo outside the building, last man alive.
I understand that Gunner and Geo are on opposite sides of this map and are maybe not working in tandem because that wasn't what was designed in their strategy, but not a good look for Geo to be so far away holding that angle, expecting Gunner to do the rest of the clearing. If you're Geo, you've got no shortage of time now. 1 minute still for him to get in the building with that diffuser in hand. But objective play is probably not going to be his focus. For Geo at this point, it's about finding as many players from M80 as you can. Find Spoit, but he's on the wrong end of it. M80 looking lethal in their first round.
Yeah, and that's the thing about playing border, right? It's going to come down to teamwork, synergy, and the individual gunfights. Because look at that round, it was Iconic, Sport, and Gomez. I found 1 kill each in the first, it was 5 seconds between those 3 kills. If those 3 kills individually go the other way around, Soniqs are 5 versus 2. It's an easy attack at that point, but this is the nature of border. It's the nature of maps like Chalet as well. Last time these 2 teams they squared off, it was on Chalet. A similarly aggressive map where you gotta take gunfights and get into the fray of things very early in the round typically, and try and lock down both the attack and entry points, or try and pressure the bombs out directly from the windows, etc. It was a 7-4 victory in favor of Soniqs, I believe. That's what I've noted at least, yeah. So, of course, M80 starting things off on border, it makes sense to want to control the pace and really get into the battle against Soniqs. And Soniqs, if you look at them the last 2 weeks, they do tend to struggle on the opening engagements. They're playing very isolated, very far off one another, and they're not able to trade when they get into those gunfights. And we saw it on the previous round. There's 1 member in security fighting Gomez, and that's it. There's no trade, no utility, no nothing. That's a big risk to... Oh?
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb.
Question marks. The big thing to risk.
All right, well, if you're following the chat, apparently the admins are calling for a rehost, but it appears that the teams were not aware of that, so they will now leave and we will get a reset. So 1 round's worth of stats will be stricken.
Not
from
the
your
stats.
site. I mean, you know that depending on the level you play at, you play for the stats, for crying out loud.
Obvious.
Player in the lobby. Grixer at a 1.18 rating.
Okay.
The next closest is Diaz at 1.11. In terms of kills,
Okay.
Grixer has 70 kills.
Uh-huh.
The next highest is Spoit at 64.
Oh, okay. So my guess there was that Grixer had the highest rating, but Iconic had more kills. That was I was kind of brainstorming, but I was clearly wrong.
Technically, Spoit and Rexen are tied, but...
Okay. That's fair. I'll let that slide.
But
Oh, the
Spoit might
DMs.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
You see that? I just saw all of Elegance's DMs. They weren't blurry at all. It's not like you can't see it at all, but he did leak his DMs, technically speaking.
Technically, I give the nod to Spoit because he's a higher rating.
Okay, but they
But they both have
that's
64
true.
kills. And then, guess who's third?
By attackers.
I was gonna go Iconic.
Gunner. In terms of kills, we're talking kills right now.
Oh, kills. Okay, Gunner.
In terms of rating, Diaz Lucas is second, but then Iconic and Spoit are right below him at 1.9 and 1.8. And then it's when it drops to Rexen and Gunner.
Nice.
10 seconds remaining.
We're gonna go a ways down as Gomez is towards the bottom, but Gio has the 5th lowest rating in the NA League at the moment.
That's been tough.
Attackers are moving to
7
defuse
plants,
bombs.
though.
It's actually not that much, 7 plants.
I mean, it's 5th
It's-
in the league.
Yeah, okay,
Actually,
so...
technically, it's 6th.
Yeah, but...
There's a tie for
OXG, are they still first in plants? Just curious for my own sake.
Dream
Yeah,
at 12.
yeah.
He's first.
Yeah, okay.
You do second.
Do I know who's second? Is that what you asked?
You'll never guess who's second with most plants in the league.
Oh, is it Beast Coast?
It's Canadian.
What? I would have not guessed that.
Canadian has 10 plants.
Oh, okay.
We're back to our regularly scheduled programming, by the way. As you can see on your screen, these teams will now settle in for the second round of action. We appreciate immensely your patience as we get things back up to snuff. First round went in favor of M80 quite definitively.
Yeah.
It was a 4v1 that became a 4v0. Only a single kill from Soniqs, and it was Gunner getting a pick that was largely impactless. Went to Gomez.
Yeah, that's really all that happened. Soniqs, they are respecting the fact that Valkyrie is open but not played in this round by picking up the IQ onto Rexen. It's gonna help them progress to the map, but again, the pace right now, very slow from Soniqs. I want to risk an early death again, like in that previous round.
M80 got 3 kills within the span of 2 seconds to start off round number 1. That's not the tempo that you want. While we do see a lot of Kiba barriers applied to walls and surfaces to create barriers, there's also that application of throwing it onto soft walls, so that if somebody tries to break open a soft wall, there will be a Kiba barrier on the other side. It also allows you to play a position without getting sprayed through the wall and dying to an errant bullet. There's gonna be the first bit of action. Gunner in hot pursuit, but oh boy, he's a little bit worried, and he doesn't win it. Diaz and Gomez, the first 2 picks. Not 3 in a row for M80 this time. They'll settle for 2. This is a strike back from Soniqs. Setting us up with 7 players in the lobby, still alive with a minute to go, and the advantage being tipped in favor of M80.
And it's again, M80, whenever there's one person taking damage, there's 2 or 3 members playing around that single member, assisting him, and always biting off more than Amy can chew. 2 for the trade of 1, and a C4 goes out, but that's highly worth it for the defending team.
I mean, the thing is for Soniqs, you've got 3 intel operators. You've got Yana, you've got Lion, and you've got IQ. They're all going to give you information as to where people are or where utility is. So not all hope is lost, but losing Yana and Lion, not particularly good. Rexon, as long as he's got a gun in his hand, can be so formidable. He's picked off 1 member of M80, but they seem to be wanting to strike back. Geo getting the diffuser down. They spot him, and Diaz gets him. Diffuser unable to go down in time. M80 collect the last 3 kills. You still get 3 in a row. It's just how they end the round. They're toying with Soniqs through these first 2.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, attacking border is, historically the favorite side where things look a lot smoother because you got all these long lines of sight, attacking from outside the map on the balconies, etc. You have so many different ways to open things up, right? Vertical destruction, grenades, etc. And M80, they're not even playing the typical, deployable shields, Jaeger, or Mai, etc. They're playing rather loose on the map, moving around, taking these fights comfortably, and always trying to shut down the entry points of the attacking team, more so than holding onto the bomb site itself. We saw that now in the first 2 rounds in a row. First round, they hold security, they play heavily around that area. Second round, that just happened, they're playing around office very heavily because it's right above that bomb site of Tiller's bathroom. And again, the second gunner shows himself, 2, 3 members just swing out together, and they shut that area down immediately. So Soniqs, they have 2 choices to make now, or they have 1 choice between 2 decisions. Either change things up and go faster, hit them hard and hit them with many people at once to trade out evenly on favor of their team, or 2, work around the problem. If M80 they care so much about office, you hit them elsewhere. You come from armory over, you pinch and you push, because right now Soniqs are coming from 1 singular angle with only 2 members being lethal and the other 3 kind of playing far back, droning, holding angles, waiting for stuff to happen, etc. And it's not working for them so far. You want to build up these rounds early, especially on the attacking side, especially when stuff like Frost is banned, which is, now that you're in attack, you can play more aggressive. You can jump in windows, take those risks, not worry about the mats at all. But this is the frustration of playing against a gun-heavy team like M80. It's hard to fight back when it's just 5 members that are so formidable in gunfights.
We brought extra drones to the battlefield. Now for Soniqs, there's 3 drone operators on attack that you can use to your advantage. Flores, Twitch, and Brava. Flores has been banned out, so that leaves just Twitch and Brava. And Brava's an operator that's seen quite a high rate of play on this map. Out of all the maps in the map pool, a lot of that is led by Oxygen, who really like to play Brava, to the point where teams have banned her on border against them. It'll be interesting to see how Grixer can use her. Brava, from what we've seen of the community notes that were released yesterday, actually seems to be in a pretty good place at the moment. Para's not a bad gun, she's got good secondary utility, and her gadget is not necessarily meta shifting, but it can be used as, a nuisance. Take some very valuable utility that you didn't think about, or as teams have been using her more recently, to capture either Valk cams or default cams and take intel away from the defenders and use it to your advantage.
Yeah. Easter's cam, for example, in this map, a 90 cam, you can hack that immense information. Right down to the bomb site, however, being droned out by Grixer. And Soniqs, they chose option number 2, slow things down, gather all that info, and work around the problem. You see it right now, because of that intel, they can make a sneaky play.
Gunners just creeping in. Bomb site's not upstairs, but it's still a pivotal part of the map that you need to hang on to. There goes a keep a barrier. Citizen tossed out a nade to take care of it. Not sure that's the best value for it. Down goes Gunner, and Rexon will follow. Iconic losing a bunch of HP. M80 perfect through 3 rounds when it comes to getting these first couple picks. Grixer walking right in. Geo's been down. Grixer unable to do enough work. He takes out Gomez before he himself finished off. Citizen in a 1v4. Wall and security blows behind him. Citizen has 2 separate angles to look at. This is a tough position to be in. Iconic decides, I'll take the engagement. Why not? Can't get anything done. Nitrocell hucked up. Citizen a little bit too far away for it to do any damage. M80 still riding high. They got 3 players left. 30 seconds on the clock. Citizen can make this work, but you're gonna rely on M80 committing some mistakes, and this is a team that regularly doesn't really make those kind of mistakes. So Citizen, while needing some advantages given to him by his opponents, just gonna walk around the map. Why not? kill some time. They know exactly where you are as your bullets go whizzing through that stock window. I don't even know if he'll be able to make it in the building as he shrugs off more of those shotgun pellets. Pistol out, and he runs in. He gives the final kill to Spoit. Just a waiting game for M80 at that point. 3-0 for the defenders.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. In round number 2, M80, they don't play Valkyrie, but Soniqs, they bring the IQ. Then the round right after, guess what? There's no IQ for the attack inside, but Valkyrie's on the defense, and Soniqs did a great job at getting information and working around it, but then a single Valkyrie camera upstairs sees Gunner, and the C4 goes out, guarantees the kill, and then things again, they fall apart for Soniqs. It seems like the only person really doing any entry job right now for them is Gunner, and he's not really getting anywhere, getting fights that are favorable for him, etc. And again, there's no one to trade and make a reactive play off that initial engagement. I think it's very evident that Soniqs, they need to talk about things, and the tactical timeout being called right now as it is makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, you got to settle it down at this point.
Absolutely.
This is M80's map, so I mean, not all hope is lost, but Soniqs have played Border so far. They played it on the very first play day against Space Station. That was a 7-8 barn burner, and then it was an 8-6 victory over DZ on Border, which featured an awful lot of typing, if people will recall. It was almost as entertaining a match in the chat as it was in the actual game itself, but I digress. Neither of those are particularly convincing scorelines for Soniqs. If two teams can push you to the brink of overtime, and yeah, one of them you come out with a victory, and the other you come out with a loss, shows that maybe it's not your single best map. So M80 feeling more confident, liking this map, going to it, and so far they have, I don't want to say broken the spirits of Soniqs, but obviously put them in a bit of a mental rut. Good thing for SQ, they bounce back pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing, and this is a best of 3 scenario, so these, you know, the days of best of 1 for now are over, which means you can drop the first map, call it a warm-up, call it your enemy's map. You can kind of take that loss and win the next 2. Of course, second map is Sky, third map is Villa for the deciding map, so things can quickly turn around. All 3 maps, like, pretty different playstyles, actually, very much so. It's not like an Oregon Border Chalet where you can kind of fight it out ABC style. So you can lose out on Border. Even a 7-0 from M80 doesn't mean anything for the maps to come because they differ so much. Although so far, with tactical timeout being burnt after round number 3, things they have to start looking different, at least attempt-wise from Soniqs, because they've been playing with these different operators. The drone-heavy one with the Brava, IQ in the second round, Nomad in the first round, and nothing's really stuck because now in round number 4, none of those operators are chosen at all. It's a more gun-heavy setup, actually. Everyone's beat Loud Freedom besides, well, Geo the Hot Breach. Spoit finds Citizen again, opening kill for M80.
4 rounds so far, M80's found the first pick in all of them, and there have been no trades. You have to go back to the second round where it was close, but the advantage was still in favor of M80, as Soniqs only got a single pick, but M80 got 2. I will say this is the only round where M80 has not gotten a multi-kill first blood. So at least that's some progress for Soniqs. Still, they find themselves in a rough spot. That's Citizen gone, Yana gone, Nades gone, and a great player off the board.
I love the fact that Gomez went to Warden this round, maybe expecting a cheese strat with like a Monty or Smoke or Oster or something like that with that tactical timeout. Just saying, in case they start doing stuff that's quote-unquote cheesy, that we can't really work against with guns, I'll bring the Warden to see through those smokes and those flashbangs. Now Soniqs looking for another one of those sneak plays, just walk into, you know, archives, walks back out immediately, gets the camera, but that's it.
Back to the drawing board for Soniqs now, who at least have half of the round to make this pivot work. I do like the lineup from M80, and I especially like the Doc play. It's always nice to see Doc get brought out. Soniqs will send 2 bodies right into archives, back to back, and there goes the Nitro Cell, does a little bit of damage to Geo, who himself can't really contend, losing a lot of HP in the process. Grixer falls as well. There's Geo getting a pick, 2 for Soniqs, in fact, as they hit the board. 3v3. Minute to go, and there's the diffuser being planted. No Nitro Cell, nobody within striking distance. This is a free plant for Soniqs, and they'll be able to get the hell out of Dodge, as the coverage from SQ seems to be good enough, trading back and forth. It's Diaz as the Doc. He's on a 3-0, but Geo takes matters into his own hands. Not just with the diffuser, but quite literally, the slaying as well. Soniqs finally get on the board.
It's a scrappy round. I mean, Gio not even flinching when that C4 was tossed on out. And if that was just tossed a little bit differently, it would have killed Gio. Instead, only did a small portion of his health. And because he stayed alive, he found that couple of kills, and the plant goes down as well. The post line from Rexon outside the building to ensure if Gio falls, I am the backup. I can still win the round for my team. That's great. The failsafe is in play. But again, it's almost a round that Soniqs ends up winning because M80, they weren't in their positions, more so than Soniqs making the correct decision in a round. Again, they found a gap, they saw the side was clear, they got the bomb down, but if that one member on the mute wasn't Salakas with that C4, that would not have been possible. So a bit of a guess there, but sometimes that's all you need. It's the first round for Soniqs, they desperately need it, but they need more than that to stay alive in this border match.
Well, it seemed like most of that defense rested on two big things. Number one, the Nitro cell connecting.
Yeah.
Did not. It flew over Gio's head because Gio decided to play close and tight to the cabinets and then push up towards Fountain. There's only one player inside of Fountain that we saw.
Yeah.
The rest of this M80 team were far afield. They were inside of Armory, they were over inside of Security. And I guess after that first kill went out to Fountain, it was too slow of a pivot for M80 to get back to the bomb site. And Soniqs could sit in there for a solid 20 to 30 seconds. Things working out really effectively for them. Then the Lion comes, buys SQ a bit more time. And even if you do give your position away, you're still not able to cover as much ground as I'm sure you would hope.
Well, the Lions can actually play a massive factor in the round for sure. And the only operator that community has recommended is Vigil. And Vigil's play rate right now is basically, it's invisible, right? No one is really playing this operator unless you're roaming on Bank, for example. Of course, if Lion keeps being a problem for the defenders, they can always go onto it. Not the choice so far. Warden still in play. No longer a Doc, unfortunately, Parker. Sorry. Swap to Lesion instead.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Really breaks my heart.
That's the thing, though. If you're playing with Dog at defense where you died or headshots, that healing won't do you any good. So at this level of play, you can almost argue that Dog and Rook's value goes down significantly unless you're dealing with grenades or chip damage.
Exactly. I mean, that does happen. There are lots of explosives that will go out. I mean, even look at Spoit. Spoit's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Doc would get him right back to full HP. That is, of course, if those stims are available in the earlier part of the round, because it's very challenging as a Doc to use your gadget later round. M80, getting those first bloods has been so critical in the way that they played this map. They will do so again. But Soniqs answer back, and then it'll go to and fro, really. Advantage does favor M80 in terms of players up, but absolutely not HP. Gomez and Iconic are both at exceptionally low health. Spoit is not too far off either.
Imagine you had a Doc right now. Oh my, that is some incredible value right here.
Makes you feel kind of silly with all the slander you were dropping.
I know, and just like that, the point doesn't work any longer.
Well,
That's the gamble.
You know, it's a lot of headshots at this level. Allow me to introduce you to this round.
You're oh so right. Soniqs gathering great intel once again, slowing things down, and because M80 they're so low on health, I mean, these gunfights can turn really quickly. But the bomb side, it's hard to get the diffuser down in this case. And M80, they're close to site this time. DS right there, Sport in the workshop. They have one C4 in pocket of DS as well. I don't know how Soniqs intend to get in, but they got the Ace and the Thatcher still alive. They can open up the hot wall next to the bomb site.
It seems to be the plan right now is, there go the Selmas, there go the Smokes.
Ooh.
You've carved yourself a nice little spot to walk right in to Tellers, but no. There's a pick by Gunner. Iconic is down for the count. And now Gio falls. Maybe he didn't see the angle that Spoit was holding. Frustration will reign through as the two last players from Soniqs, well, they congregate over in lobby. They find a single pick on Gomez. Grab the diffuser. Timer working against them. Gunner now taking point. Grixer down for the count. Gunner will need to find 2 kills. He's got 1, and it just needs to be Diaz to hide. He's got him locked down, but the timer will run out. Diaz exhibiting great patience. No peeking whatsoever. M80, they answer back the round they just lost. They've won the first half, 4-1, but there's still one more round to go. They have an opportunity to take it 5-1.
And this is the thing about this bomb site, the Teller's bathroom, it's so hard to get into the bomb site without vertical control, the hatch being opened up, etc. Gio attempted to go through the breach, but the long line of sight all the way from workshop that Spot was holding shuts it down. And then M80 played very smart. The moment that Spot's position is kind of called out by Gio, he falls back off the angle, and then Diaz advances from the bathroom, rotate instead, and when they try and go for Spot, Diaz swings. The 1-for-1 trade allows that that 1 versus 1 where the defender can just hide because the clock is ticking down so low. Only 2 seconds left when the 1v1 was underway. And that just means you can hide behind that fridge. Timer hits 0. Gunner can't get the round. They cannot get the kill. M80, 4-1. Changing things up again. Now they go ventilation, but there's a twist. They play the mirror this time around, so those mirror windows can be put upstairs. It can hold again those important entry points for the attackers. Office triple wall, that's where the first mirror will look towards. So if they open that up, hard to get further than that. Second mirror, probably either going to be for archives or armor to shut down the other half of the map. Could be here, could be there. But then the exterior wall, that concrete floor that got changed with the border rework, heavily favoring and enabling that aggressive mirror position. And then to make things even more difficult for the attackers, they will also have a roamer inside of security to peel off any hard breach on the mirror window. So this is like a 3-step plan just for the roam setup for M80.
The one thing I will say about Soniqs and the way they might approach this bomb site is that 2 rounds ago, Armory was the site for M80 on defense. Soniqs decided, let's ignore that. We're going to go through Office instead. We're going to take that part of the map. We're going to go into Archives. That's where we're going to get the plant time.
Yeah.
It's possible that they ignore Armory this time, but not the easiest to do because at some point you'll need to clean out the top floor. And you might say, you know what, we can keep Armory at bay, as we did 2 rounds ago.
Yeah.
But you're going to need Office control. And Office control is so easy to hang on to as long as you have Armory, because you have to split your forces at that point. Soniqs has to send at least 1, possibly 2 players downstairs while keeping 3 above. And M80, if you keep going with every single round so far, they get that very first pick. That's huge. Most of these rounds, if Soniqs are in a 4v5, going to be even more challenging to keep 2 players upstairs while 2 go down below.
That actually injured him. He just naded like on the soft wall next to the mirror window. That is insane. They don't know, though. They can't act upon it. Second, they can go out, maybe kill him this time. But he's going to play much further back this... Oh, this
Citizen
time.
botches it. Did he shoot his own Selma, by the way, so that it only went down a single line? It looked like that might have been the case.
It's that a security roamer shot it.
Could be. M80 through this first half. Perfect on opening duels. It's iconic to find kill number 1. It's on the gunner. IQ, all those gadgetry from the defense safe for now.
Yeah, but they got what they wanted, right? You said deal with Armory, they can try and plant.
It's like he almost knew.
So
Does
if they
Spoit
can
know this?
I don't think so. If they can clear out Sport, they can go for a plan execute.
Geo looking for the jump in.
Wait, he's
There are
in.
Smokes. They're hunting for it. Continuing to walk right in. Grixer makes the bomb site his own, and now Soniqs will have control. Gomez firing back. He's dropped, but just not enough bullets to deal with Grixer, who gets kill number 2. Oryx is still there. Citizen finishing off what had been started earlier. Kino to the rescue. Iconic backed away. M80 looking weak, looking mortal against this Soniqs team. 30 seconds left. Do they know where Iconic is? Diffuser going down, he must have some idea. Geo looks like he'll be good enough for his second plant. Kino keeps the numbers low. There goes Iconic, spotted out by Grixer. Now it's Kino to drop. Oh, no. Kino, that is not the way. A bit confused as to how to handle Geo. And what a monstrous round from Grixer, finding 4 kills, giving Soniqs their second in the first half.
Not just Grixer, though. A great read from Soniqs. That's the first and arguably only attacking round where they looked like they were in full control the entire way through. The nade opens things up. It makes Spot vulnerable. Back to 20 HP, gets revived, etc. And sure, the second grenade, it gets botched. It happens. Doesn't find anything, really. But they get the mirror window removed and cleared. They get security control. And then they just hit the site. They prevent, or they walk around the problem that is above entirely. And Citizen, outside Armory, can hold down that little bit of verticality on that half-wall position, and the moment they kill Spoit, Citizen makes the call, Geo, the bomb site of B is now safe, you can plant. And while that is happening, Grixer is literally in the middle of the workshop bomb site, just cleaning up shop, finds 2 kills immediately, and then it's M80 running back, trying to pick up the pieces. Kino is still up above like we saw, but he only found a single kill, and that was it. Bomb still went down, Geo got the job done. The moment you're in that post plant as an attacking squad, the win rate on average is 85%. So you can sacrifice 1 or 2 members to get the plant down. It's pretty much always worth it.
5 seconds to go.
First half, in terms of objective play, Soniqs getting 2 diffusers planted, and they won both of the rounds where it happened. They were very nearly close to 2 more, but died at the last second. Could that have possibly changed the outcome of the round? I mean, It could have, but I think it's quite unlikely given how dominant the rounds that M80 were won by. There was one round where it became a 1v1. Everything else, they were at least doubled up on the last Soniqs player. So not particularly close for SQ on the rounds they lost. The scoreline shows you exactly where it should.
Yeah, it's a very true storytelling in terms of round score for sure.
M80 got all 6 opening duels in their favor. Soniqs have been trailing in every round. And despite that, they still won 2 rounds. That's not terrible. But it's not sustainable. You cannot keep sacrificing a player early round, time and time again, and expecting to come out ahead.
No, I mean, that's the definition of playing on hard mode. I mean, you're just making things more difficult than they need to be or should be. And M80 trying not to repeat that same mistake that Soniqs did. Just really taking a slow first round, figure out the setup, they see the bandit. If they know the nade lineup from the roof or from above the east stairs, that could be a kill. Oh, movement burr is gone. Spot just in, instead gets the kill with his gun.
Not ideal. Flashbang's going out over top of the hatch. Spoit might have one right now, but Iconic is just going to do it himself, and that allows the grenade to go back in pocket. Soniqs dealing with these logic bombs, doubling up towards 90, but M80 looking just as good on their first round of attack as they did in their first round of defense. Soniqs get on the board with a single pick. It's a Nitro Cell that kills Iconic. And now Citizen in a very similar position to where he tossed that Nitro Cell. Top of the metal detector stairs, gets yet another. Advantage still favoring M80, especially with how low Citizen's HP has been pushed to. But Gomez isn't at full HP either. Nades tossed out, Citizen trying to escape it as it rolls down the stairs. And SQ are taking their lumps. This is a long, drawn-out affair with both teams taking their lumps. It leaves Soniqs in significantly worse position in terms of HP, though, Nick. Got time, 1 minute left. They'll reposition as they look to hold off the storm from M80 on the archives and armory bomb sites.
Yeah, things have really slowed down. I think it made them realize that volatile start they had, they can't keep it up. The odds of risk is too far. It's too great. It's just down to Citizen now in a 1v3.
And he's been mighty good getting 3 kills, gets or 2 kills, almost a third on the down. But finished off in the last second by M80, who just continue on the streak that they are on. 5-2 the scoreline. Only 2 rounds away from putting their own map in the win column, which is big.
Big but expected, one could say. But certainly big when the first map in a best of 3 gives you a little bit of wiggle room, especially you can freely now, quote-unquote, lose the second map and go decider where you should be happy to go, seeing as you had a say in that in the ban phase. I really enjoyed how M80 attacked in that previous round, taking the first minute and 20 seconds to get the full picture of what the setup looked like, and then communicating, all right, guys, this is how they're holding it, this is how we're gonna storm it. 2 members together from East Stairs walks into office, one was in the window, and then Spot was inside of security, caught the entire rotate in half. That meant that even if somebody from Soniqs tried to rotate to assist that initial attack, they would die. This how Spot got that opening kill. And M80, once they say go, they will push all the way through that initial wall that is hard to get past, and then they slow things down. Because once you get past the initial threshold that is going to be like Office, for example, and Fountain, once that's clear, defenders cannot retake it. So you can just kind of sit back, reassemble, re-drone, figure it out, and while M80 were not doing anything, we saw Soniqs. They're running around the place, looking for fight. Citizen on the metal stairs, up and down, back to the bomb side. Drixer on the bomb side, fighting for his own life for 30 seconds straight. They were never safe. So M80 always applying so much pressure, making it difficult for Soniqs to kind of reassemble. And sure, the Valkyrie's open, but the answer is there. Dokkaebi and IQ, a heavy focus to shut down information, to keep the defenders blind, so the attackers can just walk on in and take those gunfights.
Well, very critical round now, as this would secure overtime at minimum for M80 should they pull out ahead. It would also leave an even steeper cliff for Soniqs to climb. That would require them to win 4 in a row. Interesting to note, though, that the results of Soniqs since calling their timeout have been mighty good. They called their timeout. They got the diffuser down in 2 of the next 3 rounds. They won 2 of those exact rounds. But defense is very different from attack. Attack is very different from defense. Did Soniqs spend some of that time talking about how they would tackle the defense here on border? Quite possibly.
One could hope so, at least.
You would assume so.
Yeah, you certainly would. They're gonna deal with this mirror window by attacking the back of Fountain Wall instead with the secondary EMPs to go out, and that's gonna force Rexen away from that strong position.
I mean, you've still got backup looking at Fountain. That one black mirror right next to Grixer will be incredibly valuable. Problem is, it's a soft wall.
But it's something. It makes them able to hold on top. I mean, the thing is now, Armory, what Gio is playing, he's also under pressure. So now it comes down to gunfights, right? M80, they've kind of put the setup into a bad position. Information is there, gunfights are still there, but the initial setup is destroyed. M80 have to choose at the right time and the right place to strike, and if they do so, they will be greatly rewarded.
Oh, Diaz cannot connect on Rexon, who goes down swinging in his position, doing a whole host of damage, and now it's Gio's turn. Alda in hand, you know it can chew through him, and he's finding kill after kill after kill until Spoit says no more. Iconic barrels into the bomb site, but it leaves Spoit in a 1v3 with very limited information. Soniqs know this, they're playing it perfectly, they've backed away. Spoit seeing the Mira, but that's an ugly one that Grixer comes out ahead of. No match point for M80, not yet. Soniqs, very calm. They push back against M80's advances, and they take their third round.
And they played a perfect ventilation defense because they recognize the bomb site itself is not the focus. We can put 4 members upstairs, and as long as we have top floor control, because of those Valkyrie cameras, the Evil Eyes, and the Maestro, they have full bomb site information. If M80 tried to do a fast one and go into the bomb site, they got vertical control. They can shut it down immediately. Both of those mirror windows spoke to that. And the second mirror window, like you pointed out, Parker, it assisted the first mirror window. So if one of those two fall, the other one's essentially a backup. So it didn't really matter all that much in the grand scheme of things that they shut down Fountain because they had archives, they had Armory. Gio winning both of his gunfights before getting shut down again, they keep that control. So beautifully defended by Soniqs, and they try to take it head on, did not succeed as we saw. We've yet to see any pocket operators, cheese strats if you want to call it that, because Border is one of the few maps where you can get away with so much. Sure, Ying is banned, I'm sure that has a part in this, and Wharton is open, but the Blitz, the Glass, the Munty, of course the Ying, if it was also in play, could be utilized here. You can go for fast plays, rushes, just these absolute chaotic, pure chaos kinds of rounds. M80, we know they can play that style, we've seen it from them before, but they do tend to do things in a more orderly fashion where they get their setup, they choose their area, and they explode. It's a little bit similar to how FaZe has played Siege the last year and a half, where they have the EU playstyle with lots of aggression, where things they are coordinated, but still very, very aggressive.
Calls from server issues coming in. Hope that it's just an isolated incident, so we'll see. It's the third bomb site coming in now from Soniqs, and it's the same 3 bomb sites that we've seen get played ad nauseum. Armory, Tellers, and Vents. Just a different rotation. Vents coming out much earlier. Armory, by the way, still open as it was lost by Soniqs in round number 1. So they can feel free to defend it at their leisure. Both these teams really liking Lion and Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi obviously a big staple of M80's attacks and is a critical part of isolating these players off-site. Not necessarily to get kills, but sometimes just give intel. We know someone's over here, okay? Leave them for now.
Yeah. Gunner picking Echo in this round is not something that we see very often. I mean, there's not many spots for the Yokais, and to make matters worse, I mean, Gunner even finds a kill into Kino despite playing Echo on side.
So this is the first time that Soniqs have gotten an uncontested pick. The previous round, they did get pick number 1, but it was immediately traded off, and then there was a frenzy of kills going out. So no real advantage was necessarily gained by Soniqs. This time, definitive. They've absolutely gotten it. And now it's M80 who are on their back foot. One player of Soniqs inside a bathroom. That's information for M80, even if they don't win the gunfight, to hunt down the upstairs players. The second floor, again, will be so critical as it is all the time. Beautiful shot by Gio. Good Lord. Taking down Diaz. And now it's Gomez to just end what little was left of Gio. That's fine. Rexon, there as insurance. Takes a lot of damage, but does a lot in the process as he gets away. All the while, the timer just ticking down and down and down.
Yeah, M80. Looks like they're going to cut the bomb set in half and force a rotation, but it's not happened so far, but now he'll just go in.
He's inside the bomb site. Rexon is gone. The advantage is now M80's. It was dead even. Can they retake? It's Grixer to drop down. He sees one from the hatch, but his position now given away. The jig is up. M80 know exactly where he is. They're expecting a drop, and they're going to get one from Grixer. Or, wait, maybe not. In the bomb site now. Diffuser being shepherded in. Spoit going for the plant. That's something a bit unusual, relying on Gomez to cover. Spoit, he's there. But it's the wrong bomb site for Grixer. He thinks it's the bathroom. It's not. It's Tellers. His job is to cut across that opening now. The two M80 players are stacked up side by side. If Grixer can find a blind spot here, an area that's not being watched, well, he can exploit this, absolutely. But look at, they are hunkered together for warmth. Grixer making some noise inside of the bathroom. They know. But this could be a easy lineup. No! He gets one, but there's just two bodies there. Maybe even meat shielding. Look at this. A pre-fire. A bit of a precarious position, because you absolutely could have killed both.
Yeah. The thing is, so depending on what type of FPS game you were to play, you will play the 1 versus 2 like in so many different ways. Astralis, they as a team have a very unique way of playing 2 versus 1s. And what we just saw, there's gotta be inspired from Astralis's members that came onto the squad, because they always stack two bodies literally next to each other, one crouched, one standing, or one prone, one standing, always something like that. And when you play Siege, typically it's never like that. You're gonna have one person to your far left, one person to your far right, or one above or one below. It's never that simple. So you see, when Grixer gets the first initial kill, he actually flicks away thinking the other guy can't be here, there's no way. But he was literally right next to him. So small things, but in these types of scenarios, all you need is a small advantage. Now, you mentioned it was kind of odd that Spot was planting because he had more health, he was playing the Ash, etc. The reasoning was actually because while Spot went for the plant, your member was IQ, scanning for the Valkyrie camera. They were being red pinged right before the plant was going down, so despite Spot seeming like the worst option to go for the plant, Gomez could figure out where the Valkyrie camera was, shot it down, guarantee there's no info, and it's why we saw Grixer being kind of like, did they plant bathroom? Did they plant Tellers? We don't actually know, because they utilized the right person to plant to shut down the information game. It's why the Dokkaebi, it's why the IQ are played so frequently in this match.
Dokkaebi being brought again, not really surprising. Iconic reunited with that Nook, which he seems to be so successful.
Yeah.
Seen rounds where both Iconic and Spoit have just been able to get into places that they shouldn't have been. You know that meme photo where you'll say, you ever wonder how things get there? I often wonder that about this M80 entry. I thought the same of Iconic back when he was on Astralis as well.
Forrest and Iconic on Astralis.
I mean, Grixer did it this game too.
Yeah.
When he was on Brava a couple rounds ago, Grixer was in the middle of the site. A bit puzzling, but oh, that's nice.
Can't do much with that information, unfortunately, but
great cam.
Especially with no IQ being brought this round, they would have to get a kill and hack the cameras to gain that intel to shut it down.
They're in the building. Psst. Oh my God, they're so close. That's basically what you're getting. One in lobby. Yana now down below. Going fishing inside of security. Nobody there. Common spot, but vacated by Soniqs. One playing by that point in security, often referred to by some players as banana.
Yeah, true.
Because it looks like a banana, kind of like an L.
Oh, that's
Gunner,
an L.
first pick, that is indeed an L. Spoit taken out of action. The most kills on M80. Has not broken double digits, only one player in the lobby that's done so is Grixer sitting on 10. But I guess it is confidence inspiring for Soniqs. 3 rounds in a row where they've gotten the first pick. But one of those 3 rounds came in a draw where they traded it out. So the fact that over the last 2, they've been able to get something going, that's good. They've still got a lot of time.
Yeah, a very indecisive round for M80. I mean, they're fishing below with nades, but they have no yellow pings or drones inside security. So again, the odds of this nade hitting anything, basically 0. And that's what happens, because guess what? The roamer who was there, that was Geo, is way gone. He's in Fountain now. They're sprinting along the map. M80, they gain nothing for this. Soniqs playing perfect on the fact that time is running low.
Oh my. Valkyrie lurking down below. Citizen, if he tries to head towards those main stairs, he's done for.
Oh.
Iconic missing his moment, and he gets slaughtered by Citizen on the ensuing fight. M80's numbers get even smaller. Diaz understands what needs to be done, but there's a black mirror staring at him, and he doesn't want any of that engagement whatsoever. Geo goes down, Gomez shrugging off some damage as Soniqs now double up on their picks, and Kino gets an exit kill before he's brought down. Soniqs still very much in this. Match point remaining for M80, but SQ will not die.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the way that Soniqs are building their structural defense is very impressive. It's so hard for M80 to find any gaps in their setup. We, as commentators and as spectators, we have the top-down view. We can see things with no pressure, with no voice comms, with full, overlay. It's hard even for us to find real gaps in these defensive setups. Most things, if not everything, is basically thought through. They got Miranos covering crucial areas, they're roaming security, they're holding down the contact points, they're playing information. M80 not opting for that IQ pick in that round was a massive punishment. The yellow pings were flying left and right, not a single black eye camera was found, I don't believe, and it was just nowhere for M80 to find anything. With 20 seconds left, Miranos is still up. Bomb side and control the defenders. The roam from Geo was still in security because no drones really utilized to get those grenades from below successfully. That's the one small thing that M80 could do a lot better. Just instead of blind nading, get a drone in, get a little bit of information, maybe somebody on the window, cut the rotation half, something like that. Then go for a nade that has a higher chance of hitting its mark. Maybe you kill Geo, then you can work with security. It's not what they did, it's not what happened, and Soniqs, they benefit from that mistake. Now, a tactical timeout was called from M80. Both teams can, of course, talk to the coach during that moment. That's the last one left in this one. Of course, M80, they want to end things right now, if not in the next round. They want to avoid overtime if possible. Best of threes, sure, it's about consistency. You got 3 maps to play at most, 2 at least. But fatigue is definitely more of a thing than a best of 1. Sure, teams they scrim 3 to 4 maps in a row typically, but playing in a professional game where things matter, there is pressure, etc., it does take more out of you. And teams right now with these rosters, this might be their first, well, it is going to be their first ever best of 3 in a tier 1 setting.
Technically, was it the first best of 3 for Soniqs if they...
Oh, well, okay, Soniqs would be an exception, actually, because they played at SI. That is, good point, good catch.
Thank you. I mean, you said at a tier 1 level. I think you can get kind of pedantic as to what tier that is. I mean, obviously, it's the highest tier, but tier 1 often denotes seasonal play. But then everybody has different definitions.
Yeah, that's the thing. To me, tier 1 is a professional match in the professional league, the #1 league, which happens to be this one in NA. Yeah.
Soniqs, by the way, came in as the 3rd ranked team, so they would be on paper the favorites to win this series. M80, a very similar record. Soniqs, 3 regulation victories, same with M80. The difference is that there was 1 regulation loss more for M80. Instead of losing that match in regulation, Soniqs got an additional 2 points by winning 1 match in overtime. So 4 victories in total compared to 3 for M80. In terms of round differential, Soniqs actually having the 2nd best round differential of any team in the North American League. Yes, even better than Space Station, who finished 2nd overall.
Oh, God.
They've certainly been heating up on this second half. They get the very first pick on Spoit. M80 has so many targets in front of them. It's almost like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to enemies. But look at what the dog can do. Grixer, who was on 1 HP, is brought back from the dead. And not only doing utility work, but Rexon gets the fade away on Nikino, and M80 in early trouble, sacrificing 2 players with over half the round to go.
Yeah, it's not pretty. And again, I mean, they're not going to strike together. Sure, they clean up, that's Gomez, but there's still more damage to be done. They find a 2nd in the round as well. It's back to a 3v3. That's so messy.
It's absolutely messy. Diaz still has both of his logic bombs as well. That's very beneficial. If you manage to take the off-site players out of action while still keeping your logic bombs in play, then you know exactly where on the site they are.
Yeah, now that you get the yokais, the black eye cameras, etc., they gotta now shoot their own intel on defense or just deal with getting spotted out. Oh, Gunnar has a spare yokai in his pocket, actually. Not too bad in this scenario.
With the way that Gunnar has played through a lot of matches, I would be a little bit concerned with that solely because, well, he's more likely to die and then that utility's to go with him. If he can stay alive for a while, toss it out, you can gain some value from it. It will be hacked, though, as was talked about.
Yeah, but he actually picked it up. So one of those scenarios where he made a big brain play, got it back in pocket instead of shooting it down. 30 seconds left, but it looks almost like Soniqs, they want to try and play with that yokai play because they're so far off the bomb with most members.
You've got 1 player inside of Customs 1. just over by workshop door. Diffuser looked like it was being planted, and there we go. Diaz trying it again. They see the yokai, and there we go. They've taken care of it. Diffuser will go down, and nobody really in a position to stop this. But Diaz has to get off of his spot, and now will instead go towards the safety of the panel. But the drop from Gomez is not good enough. There's only one player to cover, and Rexon's coming in from the opposite angle. Citizen and him get both of the kills, and even though the Diffuser goes down, it's a 1 round for Soniqs.
What an exciting 3 versus 3. I mean, so they hack the cameras, you see where the yokai is, Gunner picks it up, tosses out halfway across the map, gets in the bomb site again, but the attackers, they see it. So they throw out the EMPs through the wall, essentially, and they get it. But then Diaz takes damage, has to reposition, the flank comes through, the crossfire isn't there. Even if the bomb did go down, the post plan from M80 actually wasn't all that great, didn't have upstairs control because both members dropped, didn't have window control, that member died. So even if that had happened, they're fighting from inside the bomb site, from inside bathroom, with so many things to worry about. That yokai drone was just about to no longer be EMP'd. Gunner could go on it and get some mighty fine information as well to figure out exactly where they would be, but it wasn't needed. Rexon and Soniqs, they were there to strike back. 1 round away from overtime. Soniqs' defense is so hard to break, and M80 on the final round before overtime, well, they got attack ventilation, and they struggled so much with that last time because Soniqs do the same thing again. They play the Maestro cameras downstairs, the Blackout cameras, you know, 1 downstairs, 2 upstairs. They got the mirror windows to hold that above the bomb site area of Archives and Armory, and then maybe they just can't attack it. They don't know what to do. They tried going for a side play, they tried going upstairs, they did like a mix of both basically, neither worked. Operator-wise, they're forced into this IQ constantly because of the information. Dogobi has been stable, but they go off it. They get 2 ranged heart breaches instead in Hibana and Ace, clearly trying to deal with the hard walls and the mirror windows. They deem that's their biggest obstacle, and to be honest, I think they're right.
Well, those last 2 rounds being won by the defenders now means that all 3 of the bomb sites that have been played have been won by the defense for Soniqs. They won Vents the very first time they went to it and then decided, we're not going to prioritize it. Let's try to fix our weaknesses. Now, Soniqs, faced with shoving this match to overtime, will go back to the 1 bomb site they are perfect on. How will M80 tackle this? They took their time out, didn't really seem to work. Frustrating spot for M80 to be in. And honestly, the longer that you let Soniqs in this match, I feel the more that they're able to settle in. This is M80's map pick.
Yeah.
Soniqs, in that sense, should not be in contest to win it. And they might not be, not with Gomez doing something that hasn't been done for a number of rounds. It's M80 getting on the board first.
Yeah, and a Citizen on the Oryx, so that's going to be one of those roaming operators. That's kind of what M80's been struggling with. The people who move around a lot, who gets in their face, and that's not going to be gone partially from the board. Of course, Citizen dying really means he can watch all the cameras and grant information to his team, and EMPs goes out, Selmas follow. That's going to clear that exterior armory wall. That's the first step in this multi-step plan. Armory above control into Vegetation Plant looks very possible. But again, there are 3 more members from Soniqs up above holding down the fort.
It's a miss from Rexon. I don't think he got the drone, by the way.
I don't believe so, no.
Got away. That's very good information. Oh, he did get the drone. Never mind. It's a bit delayed on our end. Gunner, or Grixer rather, swinging the window. Citizen down now, Geo falls too. How heartbreaking for the fans of Soniqs if this comeback was all for naught as they've managed to keep things close, but still just can't get it done in the most important round so far for this team in teal. Managed to keep numbers close, but now they are at a deficit. They just nip away at the heels of Gomez. Gomez and Diaz combining for maybe about 10 HP. Rexon taking Iconic out of action. This is still very winnable for Soniqs, but will require some finesse and a lot of grace.
Yeah, I love that Gunner's just hiding the bomb site. He knows they're sold on HP, has this from G11, and then just let Rexon do the work. He moves around, he finds the kill, that's Gunner.
They can work together. They've still got site control. Gunner, though, getting off site. Now going over to Customs. They've ceded that ground. Diffuser will need to be retrieved. Look at the HPs for M80. This is nowhere near as winnable as you'd hope it to be. Gunner's got a big brain play here. How is he going to play this one? No, he looks the wrong way! Diaz is at the window. It's all Rexon. 8 and 8 to clutch out in a 1v2. Diaz watching the only way for Rexon in, and they see him jiggle, peek around it, but Rexon gets them both! And overtime on the docket.
Rexon with 2 rounds in a row, secures it for his team, and Soniqs are making the comeback. And now you have to question, how does the mental side of M80 look? Because these rounds are rounds where you gotta show up and you gotta win it. They clawed back after a brutal mid-round, but then Rexon is just there. Finds the 2 versus 1 clutch. 6-6 now tied up.
M80, M80, M80. And you know what I was going to remark? Before we got into this streak that Soniqs are on right now, it was a great back and forth after that first timeout from Soniqs was called back in round number 3. Soniqs wins one. M80, they seesaw back and forth for 6 rounds. For Soniqs, that's just not good enough because the advantage was already M80's. If they keep going in that direction, M80's going to win before you can catch up. So 3 rounds in a row from Soniqs. They do it on 3 separate bomb sites. They remained perfect on vents. They took that hero play from Rexon. But still, doesn't matter. Sometimes somebody needs to step up. Rexon did huge in that round. And honestly, there have been 1 rounds by every single player so far on Soniqs.
Yeah.
At least 1 round that has been won by all 5 players. It takes a team effort to ultimately come back the way that they did against M80, but there's very obvious performances that we can highlight, and we will. And I'm sure the desk will as well. In the meantime, we've got at least 2 rounds of overtime, possibly a 3rd. Soniqs starting on defense, M80 back on attack. This is a very defender-sided border right now.
It is. I just want to talk about that 2 versus 1 where you're covering your planter, because there's 2 ways to play it. There's one where you hold an active angle and the first person to die is the cover. And you can also, the second option, you kind of let the enemy kill the guy planting, as long as the timer is on 0, and then you trade it back after as the attacker, and then you win the round. When you have 1 HP and you're covering your planter and you get into a gunfight, you are very likely to lose. Sometimes, quote-unquote, sacrificing your planter to get the kill afterwards might be worth it. That might have cost him that map right there for M80. He sit there in OT. And things are hard because Soniqs, they start in those dynamic bomb sites. Ventilation, and also this one, Taylor's bathroom. They play above, and it's what M80 time and time again just cannot successfully clear. And your favorite operator, Parker Doc, is back in action, just healing people up so they can take these gunfights. And if anything goes astray, back to full, just like that.
We saw how valuable Doc was in the hands of Rexon just a couple rounds ago. Oh! And he does it yet again! Sacrificing a bit of HP, removing Iconic from the equation. Not the start that M80 wants, yet again. The team on defense has been so formidable with getting these first picks. The advantage is still in favor of M80. They very narrowly sacrificed a 2nd player, by the way, as Gomez on his drone. It was a showdown with Rexon, but they both decide to go their separate ways. Calamity that's happening now off-site. Back to Teller's bathrooms. Looking for yet another successful defense. M80 taking even more lumps, but they've hunted down Grixer. They lose Diaz in the process. So you trade out. Oh, Rexon, nice run from Kino. No recovery whatsoever from the Doc. All these skirmishes happening spread out across the map. Yeah. This is up into a 3v3 with a minute to go.
Gio, though, he's hiding in the corner, but they know. They had information, apparently. That's huge. That means that there's no flank potential. Citizen on low HP, no C4. Sure, they have a yokai drone, but there's 49 seconds left. IQ's on the board. That's probably not going to be a factor in this round. M80, it's all up to them again. They're in the driver's seat. It's their round to lose. Gunner for the 1v3.
You get it. Last round won solely by Rexon. Gunner's got a good weapon. He's in a good position. If they drop that hatch, it'll be right in front of them, but M80 has something that Gunner doesn't seem to know. There are drones there. M80 lack intel, though. Yeah. You got 1 at the back stairs. You got 1 looking at hatch. Gomez will drop. He has no idea where Gunner is. Gunner sees it, but look at, he can be really patient. Walks up, huge play by Gunner, but Spoit's there for the insurance to cut him down to size. Playing the hatch from above. You've got them lined up. Not a lot that Gunner can do in a 1v3, but M80 will move back to a position they know well. Match point.
And Gunner, he's gonna feel really bad about that one, because that again, he starts planting at 10 seconds. Gunner can wait 3, 4, 5 seconds, and there's only like 5 or so less seconds left. He doesn't wait that long, gets the kill. He has a big decision. Sprint through bathroom, risk the workshop rotate death or the hatch death as he died from Spoit, or go back where he came from, back into Tellers, but then he's stuck in a corner. And it's one of those, oh, I should have done the other play when he dies. But it's so hard to make the right decision in that moment, especially because he didn't really have any real information outside of where the plant was going down. Soniqs, it looked like they just, they couldn't find it together. It was again 1 versus 1's falling apart. Rexon's upstairs on the dock was caught sprinting on that E-stairs balcony when his teammate had just died right next door. So sprinting in that scenario, that's a problem, and he was kind of taking the safe way out, and he thought, where the faster I can get to E-stairs, the faster I can get to safety. But when you're sprinting while you are going faster, you cannot fight back, and you're generating so much noise as a 1-speed armor.
5 seconds.
So you get shut down. And now the fun begins. Finally in overtime, we see these pocket strats, the cheese strats, whatever you want to call them. The gridlock gets played, the glass gets played, 4 smoke grenades. But the thing is, Grixer, he's there. Gomez is there on the Warden, has a C4. That's going to be the key operators here. Rexon on glass, Gomez on Warden. They're going to be the 2 biggest playmakers in this round because it's execute versus counter. It looks like a straight Teller's window in through, but droning it first. Drone got shut down. They might stall out the plant. So far, no smokes tossed out. So it's going to slow things down, not go for a rush just yet.
It's a really interesting time to see a Finka come out. I mean, if you think the dog is working out so well, why not? But I mean, this whole Soniqs lineup, as you talked about, is fascinating to look at.
Yeah.
I like Blaz. And he makes it work. Takes some damage, and immediately there's an adrenal surge that goes out and tops back up some of these players on Soniqs, using it very similarly to the way we've seen before as just a combat medic at this point.
And it's Gomez gone on Warden, so that now this last smoke that Rexon has on glass, that could be a plant play. Only Keen has a C4, but Spoit. Nice shot onto Gunner. It's going to slow things down again for Soniqs. They can't quite get the position that they want.
Spoit locked out the previous round, and now a strategy that we saw actually at a Koi at SI, which is the upside-down glass play. Geo needs the call, the bathroom is clear. Without that, it's all lost. Hops in, that proximity alarm is going to give him away. Citizen lurking upstairs. Rexon watching from above. Iconic spotted, taken down, but guess who's there? To come to the rescue, it's Spoit, M80, doing something that they were unable to do through the last 3 attempts, which is send this game away. It's Grixer and Rexon, but Rexon's been dropped. They were teasing you. They let Soniqs have some hope, but unless Grixer can pull off the miracle of the century, hope's all they get. In all reality, in OT, M80 take the 2 rounds, and they stop the advance from Soniqs, taking the very first map by a score of 8-6.